Welcome to The Beauty Shift, proudly sponsored by Keranique, America's #1 hair regrowth system created by women for women.
I'm Michelle Phillips.
I'm a celebrity stylist and beauty expert, a national TV personality, and self-confidence coach. And over the years, I've worked with some of the most recognized faces in the world, helping them look and feel their absolute best inside and out.
That ultimate inner outer wow. Now that's true beauty, my friends.
Welcome to The Beauty Shift. I'm your host, Michelle Phillips, and I'm so happy to have you here with me today. You're going to be so happy that you tuned in because this woman that's joining us today, she's known as America's leading relationship journalist. Her name is Dr. Wendy Walsh, and she is a trusted voice on love, relationships, and the human connection. She was nominated for an Emmy when she was a co-host on The Doctors. She was an anchor on Extra, as well as a frequent commentator on many, many national TV networks. She also was named Time Magazine Person of the Year for her role in the Me Too movement. She hosts the Dr. Wendy Walsh Show on iHeartRadio and inspires over 1.5 million followers with her empowering insights. Bottom line, Dr. Wendy Walsh is a powerhouse and badass. She's a psychologist, an author, and most importantly, she's a mom to 2 beautiful daughters. So her new book is in the works, and she's taking a stand for committed love. And recently I came across her newsletter sharing this new book idea that's in the works. And I was like, Dr. Wendy, could you please be on The Beauty Shift? Because I've known her for years. She's so incredible. And she said yes. And so I'm so excited she's here with us today. I know you're going to be blown away at this conversation because if you're single, if you're in a relationship, it doesn't matter. Even if you want to rework the relationship you're in, this conversation is truly going to inspire and empower you. So without further ado, please welcome the amazing Dr. Wendy Walsh to the show. Welcome, Dr. Wendy, to this show. It is great to have you here.
Thank you. I'm always happy to be here.
You took a little time off. I saw that you just recently got married and
Yes.
your 2 girls are like grown up already. I think the last time when you and I met, it was many years ago and our kids were small and so much has changed. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, they're 22 and 27 now. How old are yours?
Yep, 26, 29, 30, and then 32.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, you're doing some right things in the beauty department, clearly.
Yeah, thankfully, yes, being in the beauty industry for 30 years, and I've got lots of great people around me that help. It's always such a pleasure to talk to you because relationships are the struggle of every human on the planet, in my opinion. I mean, whether it's a romantic relationship, friendships, family, the bottom line is it's all about relationships.
It's the whole reason why we're here. You know, we're put on the planet to reproduce, and that's it. And our choice of romantic partner is the single most important choice we can ever make in our life, both for our careers and for our mental health and our physical health.
Absolutely. And we were just talking about you've recently got remarried and congratulations.
Thank you.
We're so happy. And
Yes.
I'm finally in an amazing relationship myself of 11 years.
Wonderful.
But both you and I have openly shared that in the past, as very smart women, we've dated some bad boys. So I thought I would just start off the top of the show with that because it's kind of like, you know, I mean, I think everybody can relate to this. It's like, why as smart women do we choose the bad boys, the narcissists, the sometimes psychopaths?
Because we have 2 brains. When we say smart, we're talking about intellectual smartness, but our emotional brain is operating behind, and it's making choices unconsciously for us based on our own attachment style and any early life trauma that we might have. So at the beginning of people's lives, like literally from age 0 to 3, their brain forms an idea for what love is. And if you come from a secure, happy family who the parents were there to attend to your needs, etc., your model for love is going to be one that has a secure attachment style, and you'll probably marry your college sweetheart. But for the rest of us, a good, probably 60% of us, that early life may have been riddled with, neglect, criticism, abuse, abandonment, of at least one parent. And so we form this idea of love that if there's pain involved in it, that must be real love, because that's what's familiar to us. I always say love isn't about finding pleasure. It's about finding the familiar. So if we can get to the beginning of where it all happened and undo it with now our intellectual brain and our adult brain, we can change our attachment style.
I love that. That was a very profound statement. And, after my second marriage, to basically husband number two being the same narcissist as husband number one, just, different person.
Shirt. Yeah.
Yeah. I finally, got some counseling and said, what am I doing wrong? Because it's not their fault. I'm the one choosing this and allowing this in my life. And I remember she said, you attract who you are and what you think about yourself. And as much as I was very successful in my life as a makeup artist in beauty industry and television industry, internally, there was always this struggle with not good enough. And that came from my upbringing. And so I would find partners in my life. And then I found even close friendships that would mirror that. If you don't think you're good enough, well, let me show up and show you how you're right about that.
Exactly. That's what we do. We create a world around us. It's interesting you mentioned friends too, because as I healed over the years and learned to have a more secure attachment style, I did find that some of my friends, my girlfriends, I was like, they're kind of avoidant too. Why did I pick them? Right. So I shifted many things in my social world over the course of a decade. Choosing people now who have more reciprocal relationships with me, who are very trustworthy, not necessarily adoring of me, they're honest friends, but real people who can exchange care fairly.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like the more I worked on loving myself unconditionally, really focusing on what's right about me and learning how to, be kind to myself and treat myself actually as I would my own child, with sympathy and empathy and unconditional love. And that's when I felt, that's when I attracted a man who is all of those things. And so there's no such thing as perfection, which I always say that to people. It's not like it's a one and done and you're just done with this journey of self-love when you focus on that. But I feel like that's the crux of the relationship shift for me.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's funny because we have to watch those voices, and in good practice, when we are home alone, it's absolutely okay to talk to yourself in the second person, like literally say, hey, Wendy, how are you feeling today? And then talk back to that person, because literally you can soothe yourself with those words as needed. I noticed, we're always growing and changing and there's always something we can fix. And I noticed recently that my brain has because I've gotten in trouble with my mouth so many times over the years. I've been canceled so many times online. They're like, oh, her again? Didn't we cancel her before? Nope, she's back.
That's what I love about you.
I'm back. I'll have these memories and I will feel a feeling of shame and embarrassment. And then I try to push the memory away or the thought away. Now the opposite. Every time I have that triggered shameful memory, I manage to say to myself, well, that's why you're so smart, because you had to learn that lesson, right? So I give it a compliment, like, oh, you got educated that way. That's cool. So I think we should all be our own cheerleader. That's important. Yeah. And that will reflect in how we choose partners and how we relate to our partners.
With today's world, with relationships, I feel very grateful that I have my husband and I have the life I have, because the online dating world, many girlfriends are going through it. In fact, even the younger kids and my daughter recently was dating, through apps and said, okay, I can't deal with this. It's overwhelming.
Right.
How are you teaching people to navigate this new online dating? I mean, I know it's been around for a while, but now
It
there's
has, and the good news is that it's actually declining. So young people are more often using social media, Instagram DMs to meet people than they are going on traditional dating apps. But the dating apps are still thriving. Let's not say they're gone away, but there's a little less. So the most important thing you have to understand is that dating apps technically are designed to get you addicted to the app. They're not designed to get you off the app, right? Because they have to get their investors. They have to say how much traffic they have and how many users they have. And so if they're losing users every week because they found a mate, they're going to go out of business. So as a result, they use a brain trick or a cognitive bias called paradox of choice. And paradox of choice simply says that when the human brain is presented with too much choice, it actually has trouble making a choice. And when it is making a choice amongst a huge field, it doesn't value that choice as much. It's literally the brain's thinking about the bigger, better deal that might have gotten away. So the number one hack that I tell everybody when they're using a dating app is to never, ever, ever match with more than two people at once. Don't go back to the swiping until you have two people in your message box. And then with those two people, and I know if you're under 30 and you're hearing me say this, it's going to be hard, get on the phone quickly, because the game shouldn't be the game of finding somebody. It should be a game of eliminating. And if you eliminate enough, there will be a last man standing who will be the great one. So what you do with those two matches is you have a phone call with each of them. After both phone calls, you say to yourself, which do I like better? Not, I hate them both. Which do I like better? So you're not filling your brain with all the paradox of choice potentials that are back there. Just these were the only two men on the planet. Which would I pick here? And then the other one, because we should never ghost anybody, because that'll be the week you run into them at a business meeting. Okay.
yeah.
So you have to have a pre-canned text. Mine used to say something like, hey, great telephone conversation. And then I'd say something personal like, good luck at your daughter's bat mitzvah, whatever, next week. It was delight to talk to you. I don't think romance is in the cards for us, but I'd love to keep you in mind for a friend sometime. I sent a version of that text to probably 100 men, and not one wrote back, okay, bitch, right? Most of them did not write back, but a good chunk of them wrote back and said, nice talking to you too. Thanks, that was a nice text. So then you take that last man standing and you go to the next step, which is you set up a coffee date. Now, if they won't meet in the real world, he's gone now too, and then go back into the deck, right? If he will meet in the real world, tell him you only have 20 minutes. It's a quick thing in between. When you meet this person, if he feels like the best thing you've ever laid eyes on, still get out of there at 20 minutes. Leave them wanting more. Women throw themselves at men. I remember I've had two women say to me lately, oh, I met the greatest guy online. Our first date was 7 hours. One girl told me that her first date was 36 hours long. I'm like, okay, stop it, you guys. Stop it.
Wow.
So you guys have to just get out of there and leave them wanting more and allow them to chase you. Now, I'm not talking like a woman from the 1950s. I'm talking about basic sex brain differences between heterosexual males and heterosexual females. We all want something or someone that we get to sacrifice for. So you need to allow him to sacrifice for you. He will value you more. And if you can make your getaway after 20 minutes and sit home and pine away for him, you will raise his value more, so you won't be suffering from that paradox of choice. Is he good enough? So that's my rule. And don't go on a first date until you've had the telephone interview, the coffee interview, and then the first date. And that keeps your brain from being stuck in this swiping and messaging and having, falling in love with hope. Somebody's profile picture? Like, that means nothing. Get in the real world. Also, I had another rule that I learned through my own trial and error. If somebody doesn't want to get on the phone and just wants to meet you in person, they're hiding something.
Right.
I have no personality, no phone skills. They're less intelligent. They're not as attractive, whatever. Only 2 occasions did I meet somebody in the real world that refused to get on the phone with me, but their profile looked so great. I thought, oh, I should do it. And one of them was definitely not anything like his profile. And the other one, sadly, had quite extensive physical disability from a prior stroke. Not a deal breaker, but tell me ahead of time. Don't shock me in the restaurant, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Or my brain goes to married or in a
Well,
serious relationship too,
well,
if
maybe
they're
that
hiding
too,
something.
because they don't have time to chat on the phone, right? But there's
Right.
always some reason why they think, I don't want to talk on the phone. Let me sell myself in person. And you got to get on the phone.
Just hearing, my daughter with her experiences, she's like, they just want to text forever or FaceTime, way before even a first date.
Michelle, let me tell you, any woman who complains that a man texts too much and doesn't get on the phone or doesn't meet in real life is a woman who's rewarding him. She's rewarding him by texting back. It's very, very simple to quit the text game. The last text he writes, or the last text you write, should read this: Hey, I'm not a big texter. You're welcome to call me anytime, or we can get together in the real world. But texting's not really my thing. And then you keep your pretty little manicure off that keyboard because he's going to test you. He's going to test you, first of all, by either not responding for a long period of time to give you some abandonment anxiety. So you'll go, did you get my last text? You've just rewarded him. He will text you to see if you'll text back, all kinds of things, especially questions. Like, oh, I just want to ask you one thing, or da, 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 and you just want to answer this one little thing. He can scroll back and read your last text. Don't respond. If you're rewarding him, you're feeding him his text habit.
Yep, absolutely. And, I'm thinking about a lot of women that I'm friends with who have recently gone through a divorce or lost a husband or, something that's really been pretty traumatic. And the first reaction is to get back into the dating game right away. What is your thoughts on that? Like, is there a time period that you should really give yourself to heal, or is it okay to just get right back in it?
No time period. I'll tell you this. Relationships are like a gymnasium for your mind. If you stay out of the gym, you get out of shape, right? So you have to practice relationship skills. Nobody ever learned relationship skills by sitting on a mountaintop and meditating and healing themselves. You actually actively grow through interactions with others and learn from every interaction. Now, if these people have this idea, like, I'm going to get on that dating app and find a new man within a week, they're going to be sorely disappointed. The truth is, it's going to take some trial and error, and they're going to get better at it. It's a game. It's a mating game. And they have to figure out how to play the game. And you do that by getting on the game board.
But not necessarily showing up and bringing all of your stuff, issues to the table in the beginning, or do you put it all out there in the beginning?
No, so learning to have emotional intimacy with somebody means sharing yourself authentically, however, also having clear boundaries. So if somebody says to you, they ask you a question about, how many people you've slept with in your life or something, you can say, I hope to get to know you well enough to be able to share that with you later. That's called authentic, honest, and having a boundary. I think what you're referring to is people who trauma dump. They're using their dates as their therapist to talk about what they've gone through. I had, in my hundreds of men that I had coffee with or whatever, I had 2 of them who were widowers and had lost one of them had lost his wife like 5 years ago. One, it was just 6 months ago. The entire time, all they did is talk about her. And I sat there giving them empathy. And I'm just like, no, you're not past it yet. You're not ready. And so the problem is this: women have a huge social support system. So when women are feeling loss, they have tons of girlfriends to call. Men are mostly acculturated to only be emotional with their primary romantic partner. So when they're experiencing loss, divorce, or literally loss of life of a partner, they will go to their go-to place and share it with a woman. And they're looking for empathy from the women, etc. But it was too much. It was just too much because it was too much too soon. If we were in a relationship and it was reciprocal and emotional connection had already been made, then it would have been fine. But to lead off the coffee date, I mean, there were tears from one guy, and I'm just like, okay.
And when you talk about that emotional intimacy and having, really establishing a healthy relationship, um, I was really fortunate when I met my husband because it was a long distance relationship. So it wasn't a physical relationship. It was more of really
It
creating a
gave you literally
friendship.
space to develop the emotional intimacy. Yeah.
Yes.
Although you're
And
the anomaly, because most long distance relationships don't work out when they move to the same city, right? Who moved?
he did.
Oh, good, good,
Yeah,
good,
from
good.
Portland, Oregon to Florida. It was like when we
Good.
met, we just knew. But I feel like in our culture today, there's a little more of the kind of that you meet, and before you know it, you're in a sexual, intimate relationship within a date or two,
Yeah, it's
um,
wrong on
which
every
is
level.
really, yeah. I'm not judging anybody for that, but typically, my grandmother used to say, "Honey, one day somebody's got to get out of bed and take out the trash," meaning you got to face the real world. Sex is great if you've got a great sex partner, but that does not mean that it equates to a good, healthy
A good life
relationship.
partner, right?
Yeah. So, what's your,
Well, first of all,
professional
I don't
advice?
think that, human beings have the widest range of sexual behavior of any primate species. Many humans are completely monogamous. Many of them like to multiple pair bond. Fine. I have no judgment against any woman who wants to have an earth-shattering orgasm with a man she never wants to marry or even see again. No problem. However, if a woman is looking for a long-term committed relationship with a high-value man, she can't lead with sex, because men do not fall in love through sex. They fall in love through trust, and they don't trust a woman who gives them sex early. And this is not patriarchy. This is ancient evolutionary programming. Because we have concealed fertility, which means a woman can only get pregnant 3 days of the month, and he can't tell when those 3 days are, and she sometimes doesn't even know herself. He has to be wary that other men will have access to her eggs. So if she gives sex to him first and early, all he thinks is she does this with all the boys. Therefore, I can't have paternity certainty. Now, pause to say this psychological instinct is even alive in 70-year-old men who don't want to have kids. It is programmed, hardwired into their ancient programming. So even if they don't want to have kids, they're seeking sex as a reproductive act unconsciously, and unconsciously they're worried about protecting her eggs from other guys.
That is so interesting. Especially, as we're thinking about today in our world and how things are so instant, gratification, and people are, you would think that it would be very different and it would have evolved, but
Oh,
it
it
makes so much
takes
sense.
hundreds
Yeah.
of thousands of years to evolve out an instinct. People are like, well, it's a different time now, isn't it? Yeah. Well, intellect. It's like you started this interview by saying, how can smart women pick dumb guys or bad guys, right? Because our brains, our emotional brains, our intellectual brains are two different things. And our emotional brain is largely unconscious.
I just want to take a quick moment to thank our amazing sponsor, Keranique, the go-to brand for women's hair growth solutions. If you're looking for healthier, thicker, more beautiful hair, no matter what hair concerns you have, Keranique has got you covered. Their products are clinically proven and dermatologist recommended, offering a complete hair care system, including treatments, shampoos, conditioners, and supplements to help you achieve stronger, fuller looking hair from the inside out. So whether you're starting your hair regrowth journey or maintaining gorgeous, healthy locks, Keranique has a solution for you. And as a Beauty Shift listener, you get 25% off site-wide. All you have to do is head over to store.keranique.com and use the code BeautyShift25 at checkout. Thanks again, Keranique, for supporting the Beauty Shift and helping women everywhere feel confident and beautiful. So now let's get back to the show. So what do you think, though, with the TikTok era and a lot of these younger people, really trying to, make promiscuity kind of like, it's a cool thing. It's no big
It's
deal.
benefiting men. And I'll tell you what's going on. So right now we have an oversupply of successful women in the mating marketplace. For every man who graduates from college, there are 3 women. I teach at a university campus that are 70% women. This has been going on for 20, 30 years. There are actually more women in the American workforce right now than men, and an evolving group of predator men who are looking for a woman's wallet as much as they're looking for her eggs now, right? And so we're in this high supply sexual economy, and men get to call the shots, which is weird because in the history of the human species, women were very protective of their eggs in their bloodstream. Sex is a much higher risk hobby for women than it is for men, right? For women, she risks getting an STI because of her unique biology. She's more likely to catch an STI, and she's more likely to catch an 18-year case of parenthood. But also, she's more likely to fall in love because of the oxytocin, the bonding hormone that's emitted in such huge amounts when a woman has sex with a man. So as a result, men are calling the shots instead of women. Women feel this competition from other women. And the competition, by the way, isn't just with their slutty girlfriends. They're competing with Instagram models. They're competing with social media. They're competing with pornography, right? And so as a result, when men say, you know, I do conscious non-monogamy, I do ethical non-monogamy, I do an open relationship, I'm polyamorous. These are all a bunch of terms that men use to have multiple partners because they know they can. And let me tell you, swinging, non-monogamy, open relationships benefits men a lot more than it benefits women.
And then women wonder why we're kind of going backwards rather than ahead.
Yeah. The game for women right now is to look as sexual as possible, whether it's with beauty filters and whether it's they just lead with sex. And I am here to tell you that there are many, many, many great, amazing, monogamous men out there that women are overlooking. And I'll tell you why they're overlooking. I talked about the ancient thing that are in men's brains about high sexual jealousy. Women have patriarchy swimming in their heads too. Many women believe the more educated they become, the more money they make, they deserve a man that's even more educated, more money. And so they want their prince. They're still a little Cinderella. Yep. Well, guess what, ladies? Your idea of a power man just might be a guy who can power a stroller. Okay?
Yeah.
So I think women need to reevaluate what they're looking for in a man, because they can't complain that all men are cheaters, jerks, won't commit, etc. If 80% of women are going after 10% of the men. Because there are 90% of great guys out there who want a fabulous girlfriend and a wife, and we're not giving them the time of day.
Absolutely. And you know, what was said to me when I was going through my healing process of deciding that I was no longer going to welcome any narcissist or psychopath into my life. It was like, you know, I wrote down this list of what I really wanted in a relationship, and a long-term relationship. And then I thought, well, am I all of those things to myself? Because I feel like sometimes we're seeking what we think we're missing. And we think we'll be happy when we have the partnership, or we'll be happy when we find a guy that can fill the voids in our life. And I find for myself, it was the complete opposite. When I started, you know, trusting myself, you know, then I was bringing more people into my life that were trustworthy. How do we kind of learn how to build that?
In general, I don't recommend that women make a list about what he should be. But I think they should make a list about what feelings they want to have in the relationship. So the feelings that I wrote that I want to have is that I want to feel safe.
Yeah.
I want to feel respected. And I want to feel peace. And when I had my first coffee date with the man who would become my husband, I remember just spending my time going, how do I feel? Do I feel safe here? Do I feel he's respecting me? Do I feel peace, or is this like hot energy? Like, I don't want hot energy. Hot, no, 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 no. That's usually when people say, oh my God, I had butterflies in my stomach. I'm like, yeah, that's anxiety. That's not how it should be.
Listen to it. Yeah.
Peace we want, right? So I think that's most important, is ask yourself what feelings you want in a relationship. And whenever you sit at a date, ask your body, what are you experiencing? What are the feelings?
Love that. I know you've taken some time off, which I can
On
relate to
social media
that.
for sure, because that can be really
Yeah.
hard on your mental health, but I'm back. Uh,
Yeah, and when your kids are getting ready to leave and go to college and you're newly married, it's like enjoy the life you have for a
It
while,
took a
but
year to plan that wedding. Are you kidding? People kept saying, tell me about your dress. I'm like, dress? It's about the table decorations, honey, and the menu. I was like more interested in that than anything else. But anyway, so it did take a year, and it was a joyful, wonderful year to plan my own fabulous vineyard DIY wedding. And 120 people flew into my farm in Southern Oregon from 7 different countries for a 3-day weekend of festivities that I planned I had spreadsheets, honey. It was something.
good for you. Southern
So,
Oregon too is so beautiful. My husband's
oh,
from
it's
Oregon.
so
Yeah.
gorgeous. So anyway, after I got that all below my belt, I was like, okay, what should I do? And I knew it was time for another book. I've written 3 books. I wrote The Boyfriend Test, How to Evaluate His Potential Before You Lose Your Heart. I wrote The Girlfriend Test, How Dateable Are You? And then I wrote The 30-Day Love Detox, and it got into the high supply sexual economy. But my most watched video online is a TikTok video called Men Don't Fall in Love Through Sex, and 5 million people have viewed it. And I thought, you know what, that's a book title. Men Don't Fall in Love Through Sex. So the book I'm working on this summer, it'll probably come out on Valentine's Day. So I really encourage everybody to please follow me on social media, because you will see announcements. TikTok and Instagram tend to be the places I'm at the most. And the handle everywhere is at Dr. Wendy Walsh. But I'm also looking for stories. I'll be reaching out and asking people to give me anecdotal stories, to come into Zoom rooms so we can talk about what they're going through, because I like to be really in the trenches with single women whenever I write. And then I put the science behind their experiences. But this will be a very clear step-by-step strategy using science-backed data to go from, for heterosexual women who want to be in a committed relationship, to go from single to committed.
And thank you. I applaud you for doing this work, because I think so many people need that guidance.
Yeah.
Everybody just wants to be happy and in a good, solid
And when I
relationship.
learned about the science of love, the biological, the psychological, the sociological, the science of love, it explained everything to me. Life, everything. It was like somebody
Right.
opened up it's like I've been playing a game on a game board, but nobody giving me the instruction book to go with it. I was moving
Exactly.
pieces around the board and I didn't get it.
Yeah, just to have that clarity. It's like, ding, 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 thank you. And it doesn't have to be difficult.
Something like, at one point I had matched with a guy online who had been clearly my type when I was in my 20s. He was tall and gorgeous and seemed wealthy and whatever. And he was texting back on the apps in a very kind of inconsistent way. And I thought to myself, there was a day that would excite me. And I would think, what could I say next to get him to text back, right? And then I thought, this guy's too distracted. He has too many women. He does not have time to focus on me. That's not my husband. And I just swiped left and got rid of him. And that's what you need to learn to do. You need to learn to go, nope, that's not the kind of love and attention I deserve.
Exactly. And to be okay with that
Yeah.
and secure with that. And it will happen when it's supposed to.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah, for
And it
sure.
doesn't happen. You can make it happen. You can create it.
Yes.
More power than we think.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. And you and I are both living proof.
Yep.
It just takes time. And for me, I wasn't even looking. I was done. I was like, I'm good. I'm going to take a time out from dating and all that stuff and just focus on my kids and my life. And that's when it happened, because I don't think I was searching. But everybody has their own, I think divine timing, I'm sure, as well. It's just that sometimes we jump into things that aren't right for us, and then that's not fun.
When you jump in out of fear of being alone or anxiety, that's not the right reason. If you jump in because when you're with this person, you have such a good feeling inside, that's the right reason.
That's so right. You just gave me goosebumps. Thank you so much for your time today. You are such a busy lady, and I was super excited when I saw your email go out that you're back and that you're working on a new book. And I just immediately said, hey, would you come on the show and spend some time with my audience? So thank you. And I'm everyone for your website. What's your website? People can go to
drwendywalsh.com. But, and I think there's got to be a way you can sign up for my newsletter there. I don't send many newsletters. I'm not a spammer. Trust me. It's like 3 times a year, maybe I get around to writing a newsletter, but I do want to collect email addresses because I have a book coming out, right? And it's all about those pre-orders. You know that.
Oh, absolutely. And then do you still have your radio show? Are you still doing that?
So for the last 11 years, I have a show on iHeartRadio in Los Angeles, KFI AM 640, but it turns into a podcast on the iHeartRadio app. And all I do is talk about the science of love. So all you have to do is download, no matter where you are in the country, download the iHeartRadio app, search Dr. Wendy Walsh. The most important thing is above my name and picture, you'll see a button called preset. If you click the preset button, then anytime you open the app, it will show you all the past episodes you might have missed. Right? So all the shows will be there. So just log on to that app, press preset, and you will have more Dr. Wendy wisdom than you ever thought you wanted.
It's so good. And your Instagram is fantastic. I'll have to check out your TikTok as well. And it's also good stuff. And again, thank you. And we will put everything in the show notes as well. Great. So people can access you there. So thank you again. And I look forward to your book. I'll be sharing it with some friends that I know will absolutely benefit from it.
Great. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Like all the ahas that went through my head during that conversation, it was just fantastic. If you all are interested in resources and improving how you look and feel, I have so many incredible things on my website, michellephillips.com, in terms of beauty, health, and wellness to support you in helping you look and feel your best. So please go to michellephillips.com and download my freebies, or reach out to me if you have questions, if you have any suggestions on topics that you'd like to hear. I am here for you. And also, if you feel like today's show would be helpful to someone that you know and love, please feel free to share. Please feel free to subscribe. And please know that I'm so grateful for you taking time to be with us today. And remember, the most powerful beauty is the kind that comes from knowing who you are and standing unapologetically in your truth. I'm so grateful you joined us today. Until next time, take really good care of you. I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Keranique, America's #1 hair regrowth system created by women for women. I hope you enjoyed the show, and if you did, please feel free to share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And if you'd like to receive my free beauty and wellness gifts, just go to my website, michellephillips.com. I also invite you to join my social media community on Facebook and Instagram, Michelle Phillips Beauty.